Good evening, everyone. This is the Metaphysical Micto Griffin Red coming back to you with another video. In this video, I will be speaking on your pro-black back to Africa hotel simp ass Negro. And the title of this video will be called the 3D pro-black. Now, I'm not talking about as far as three-dimensional or anything like that. I'll be calling the 3D pro-black delusional and denial and just plain old dumb. So let's begin. First things first, when it comes to them being delusional, they have this crazy mindset that if we just somehow just teach to our people and wake up our people that we was kings and queens over in Egypt and we ruled the entire planet and we did ski jumps off the side of the Khufu pyramids, that the people, our black people, gonna wake up, which is bullshit. See, what these cats don't tell you is I've done a little research on the harsh punishment that was meted out in ancient Egypt, and I actually read this. It says Egyptian kings and pharaohs conquered entire nations, but if a person stole so much as an animal hide, he could be whipped with 100 lashes and stabbed 5 times in the back, and then be sent to work. Archaeologists studying skeletons of people buried in Amarna's humble commoner cemetery has speculated 5 men with wounds to their shoulder blades were punished this way. A wall carving from ancient Egypt spells out the punishment for stealing animal hides, but researchers did not know the penalty was actually carried out. The alleged crimes of the men in question, who were in middle age at the time of their deaths, are not known, nor are the names or identities. But if the stab wounds on the shoulder blades were indeed punishment, they were probably able to return to work, an important consideration in Amarna, a labor-intensive city where workers were mustered to build huge temples and palaces for Akhenaten, the pharaoh who imposed a new religion on Egypt. And it says, while life was hard for all laborers in Egypt, it was especially hard in Amarna, which Pharaoh Akhenaten built about 3,300 years ago and dedicated to Aten, the sun god. Workers were there rushed to construct stone temples and palaces for Aten and for royalty and other nobility. The regular folks buried in the commoner cemetery had high rates of joint disease, possibly from lifting and carrying heavy loads. Their skeletons show signs of malnutrition-related diseases, including scurvy. Dabbs and her colleagues noticed nearly 10 years ago that some bodies on or from the Amarna commoner cemetery had a gash in the bones of the shoulder blade, as if someone stood behind them and injured them. It is unlikely the wounds were from either falls or battle. And it says, as harsh as 100 lashes and 5 gashes may seem, these men may not have had it as bad as some perpetrators in ancient Egypt. Some people were put to death for various crimes, including grave robbing. Some were beaten, had their noses, ears, hands, or tongues hacked off for a variety of crimes. Women, Hotep the Black Woman's Guide, it says women who committed adultery had their noses cut off to ruin their looks so she wouldn't do it again. Most women in ancient Egypt were dealt with more harshly than men, as in other ancient cultures. A man caught in adultery with a married woman received their beating as a penalty, usually a thousand strokes with a stick. However, if a man raped a free-born woman, he was castrated. One man of the 25th dynasty of the 7th century BC is believed to have been buried alive for robbing graves. And the overarching code of law for ancient Egypt has not been found. But these punishments and other facts about the law are known from funerary documents, court manuscripts, and some other writings. Even so, after Upper and Lower Egypt were united around 2925 BC, the people had a comprehensive system of law, says Facts on File. There were laws around murder, theft, grave robbing, and necrophilia. So there you have it. They want to tell you that the black woman is God, and we just need to tell the people that we come from African kings and queens. Newsflash, pro-black. You had knuckleheads and criminals in every major black civilization. There has never been a black utopia. You always had criminals and evil people in every society. Now, the only pro-black that I really well, the only two that I really respect is sometimes it's like Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic. The rest of them can go to hell. Because Bobby Hemmett himself said he was a bleeding heart for black people for 10 years. And he already knew, so he knows that niggas ain't gonna do nothing. He also said, this is the one mistake that every Negro that learns something does. You go out and try to teach other people. And when you do that, you might get killed. It is not for you to try to wake them up. Let the dead lie with the dead. Bobby Hemmett also said, you ain't gonna liberate black folks. Black folks are sick and out of their damn mind. All they care about is some money. So they can buy they crack or they Bentley or whatnot. You're not gonna liberate these niggas. And he even said this notion of a new black nation is ridiculous because mental illness is too far gone, is way too far advanced in the so-called black race. We can't get along for 2 minutes, but you want you niggas talking about getting together and building some black nation, getting some land over in Africa. Hell, Bobby Hemmett said even this. I wouldn't be calling the same street corner with some of you niggas, let alone getting on some land with y'all niggas and sharing some millet and washing out in pots and all that old romanticism shit. See, that's why I have, even though I'm not really into the pro-blacks, I think the majority of them, if not all, a piece of shit. Bobby Hemmett, I can kind of say that I do halfway respect because he told the truth about niggas. If you go on YouTube and find any of his older lectures and everything like that, he told the truth about niggas. He had no problem telling you that these niggas ain't shit. They are fucking animals. Hell, he was like, hey, I'm like queen of the damn. They don't know and don't want to know no knowledge. Now, the denial part. The denial part comes from they don't want to accept the fact that the nigga bitch is a stone cold traitor. Now, mind you, I didn't say black women. I said nigga bitch. And just off topic for 1 second, have you ever noticed that the black females you do kind of get along with, they're usually older? They're like from the, they were born in like the late 40s, early 50s. They're older. You can sit down and talk to them and, tell them what's going on. And they can relate. They understand. But these bitches now, man, please. I had a conversation with one of these indigenous blacks about a couple of years ago. And he was on that, the reason why our black queens, they do us like this is because we didn't protect them during slavery and we ran out on the family and everything, which we know is bullshit. The nigga bitch sold us out for food stamps, welfare, and hair weave. So I called him one day and I was like, hey man, well what do you think about the Brian Banks story? And that cunt, Juanetta Gibson, who lied on him and had him in prison, and he didn't even do it. He said, and I quote, oh, well, that's not, that's just small stuff, man. We got bigger things to worry about. That ain't nothing. That the only reason why she did him like that is because you gotta remember, we didn't protect the black woman, and that's why we have all these women lying on us and killing these black men and killing these babies, because the black men, we didn't stand by our woman, which was bullshit. You don't believe me? Go to Hardcore Tito's videos, and he will go and construct the myth about the non-protection of the black woman. I advise you to do so. They are also in denial about black people in general. These motherfuckers think that you can save all these black people just on the strength of they have the same skin color as you. Not realizing that some of these you got a lot of motherfuckers out here that are soulless. And it has nothing to do with phenotype. And the thing that really pisses me off with these Negroes is that they have had 50 plus years of using the same worn out ass talking points, black militant, nation building and all this other stuff. They had it for 50 years. You've had the Nation of Islam. You've had Pan-Africanism. You had this Hotep shit. And none of these systems work. Every year with the Hoteps, with the pro-blacks, these Sarah Sutnasetis, Ranoko Rashidis, and these Khalid Muhammads, and all these Moors and everything like that. All they do every year is get together and debate. All they do is pay, and they want to charge you to go to these funky ass debates. They want to charge you for these funky ass DVDs about so-called African history, which you can go online and find your damn self if you got up off your goddamn ass and got online. But they really believe that if we somehow tell them about this religion over here, or if we tell them that, we was kings and queens and, we just got to tell them about the African, we got to get back into our African roots. We got to wear the dashikis that was made in China. We got to wear the stupid little kufis that make us look like fucking crayons and shit like that. That's somehow they just magically gonna wake these niggas up. These motherfucking niggas out here are fucking retarded. Let me explain something to you. And I took notice to this. You ever notice in a lot of these so-called black neighborhoods in all black cities, nobody comes in, nobody ever moves out. Hardly ever. And I also noticed that damn near over 80% of the women are only having sex with maybe like 10% of the men in these neighborhoods. So therefore, you have this small percentage of men getting all the women pregnant. So therefore, after so many generations, you're going to have inbreeding. Which explains the damn retarded behavior that you see with these violent, savage ass niggas. I call them hood billies. Niggas is a word that's just too played out. Start calling these motherfuckers hood billies. These inbred inner city Negroes, they are hood billies. It's my word, but you're free to use it. These motherfuckers are hood billies. You avoid them at all costs. Secondly, these motherfuckers are just dumb. They want to tell you that this so-called nigga bitch is God, and that she's the center of the universe, and that somehow, we just need to get back in touch and worship our black woman, and all this other crap, that we just somehow going to everything is going to work out, and black people we just gonna magically wake up and get back in line, and we gonna start to build our nation with our black woman. Newsflash, you stupid motherfuckers. The black woman has betrayed you several times. Look up the Tuskegee experiment. It was a black woman that was over that, and they did tests on black men, I believe. I even found out during the Salem witch trials, it was a black woman that started that mass hysteria, where innocent people were hung. Even though they were Caucasian or whatnot. Hey, I'm still against anybody getting mercilessly executed for no reason. Yeah, a black female was behind that. An old black slave. And you can't forget about the bitch that tried to kill Martin Luther King. When you present this evidence to them, they always go back to the we didn't protect them during slavery. Oh, well that's the white man, which is bullshit. Perfect example. I know a gentleman that was in Detroit, and he had a little business, and one evening, must have been a crackhead or something like that, a crackhead, and came in and broke into his business and stole a lot of his tools and everything that he needed to run his business. So I'm like, well, you know who it was? He was like, yeah. I'm like, well, did you call the police and have the guy arrested? He was like, well, no, man. He had he returned the stuff, and that's just what the white men want you to do. They want you to want us to turn each other in, and return us, turn on each other and sell each other out and everything like that. I'm like, Negro, everybody that's the same skin color as you is not your damn brother. These motherfuckers are dumb, I'm telling you. This is why the crime rate is so high in these black communities. Because you got niggas that got that funky ass mindset. You're breaking, if I'm out there and I lived in one of them godforsaken cities, you break up in my house, you break up in my business. If I catch you there, I'm blasting you open. Fuck all that, my brother. I stopped saying that shit. My brother, my sister, my people. I don't do that shit. Everybody that's black is not your brother or your sister or your people. You niggas need to cut that shit out. Hell, these Africans don't even like your ass. I remember way back in the early 2000s, at the time I had tonsillitis, and I went to emergency because it was really killing me, and I had just got off work. So the nurse that came in was like, well, hey, what's wrong with you? And I told her, was like, well, look, my tonsils are hurting, and I don't know if I need an antibiotic or something. Can you give me a shot? So she was like, okay, we'll send a doctor in. So I'm waiting and everything like that. And lo and behold, and this was the middle of February, so it was real cold. This balding, pot-bellied, clown-looking, socks and sandals wearing African doctor comes up in there. He was dragging his feet. He didn't even want to wait on me. So I tried to explain to him what's going on, everything like that. And he started to interrogate me, talking about, well, why did you wait this late to come in? Why didn't you come in early? Motherfucker, I had to work. I didn't tell him that, but that's what I want to tell him. This dude acted like he didn't want to wait on me. And, I'm like, dude, man, come on, give me an antibiotic. I'm in agony over here. Son of a bitch. And I remember telling that to a pro-black. He said, well, my brother, you got to remember slavery, with the transatlantic slave trade, that funky ass root slave narrative. That's why the Africans, they don't like us, because we forgot who we was. And, we got to reconnect with them and our African roots and everything like that. These Negroes are hopelessly African. They want to be African so bad. So I'm telling you, if you know that you are indigenous to this land, you have to cut them cats off. People that believe in this, that if you know somebody that believes in the root slave narrative, you got to cut them loose. Because they are no good, and these people are hopelessly lost. Like the pro-black. They are dumb. Every dysfunction in the black community, to them, can be attributed to slavery. And I notice they always blame black men for this crap. Everything from the saggy baggy pants from the retardation up in these retarded violent niggas going out just shooting people in all these communities somehow can be attributed to the black man. And the one thing that really gets on my nerves and would make me sick to my stomach, was that these guys are talking about, well, especially the ones that dick ride Africa, talking about, well, the reason why Africa is in the situation it is because we as African, so-called African Americans, won't go over there and help them fight and fight and reclaim our land, allegedly over there in Africa. No, black man, you are indigenous to America. That's the big secret. Notice how they let Africans come over here and they pretty much get everything. Damn near. Surpass you, but yet you allegedly come from over there and you can't get nothing? I mean, no freebies, not even some cookies and milk. You can't get nothing, man. But yet these niggas is telling you that they, you know, that somehow we can save all these Negroes. No, you niggas had 50 years to try to wake these niggas up. They are done. Just give it up and move on. Look out for you and your family and let that be it. Most of these niggas out here are pieces of shit. I know from personal experience. Let it go, pro-black. Let it go. So that's why I see them as just plain out dumb. So this is going to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment and subscribe. Like I said, I will be going into some more metaphysical prophecies, especially about the Hopi prophecies in the red and blue Kachina. Maybe later on tonight or in the next coming day. So keep an eye out for it. Thank you again and goodbye.